So here's a question. Have you ever looked around and thought, gee, my team's working really hard, but we're still falling behind? If that sounds familiar, it may very well be that something is missing from your management process. And today we're going to look at what that might be. So let's look over here. I'm going to jump in and dive into here and look at decision filters. The problem may be that your decision filters are either missing or not well enough defined. Now, let me expand this and we'll actually look at the problem. In a lot of organizations, new work gets approved based on passion, politics, sometimes it's gut feel. An exec might casually say, hey, let's look into this, or a client makes a last minute ask, or somehow a pet project gets greenlit without pushback. Before you know it, you end up in this situation where your roadmap is packed, your team is maxed out, and your most important initiatives are slipping. Does that sound familiar? Well, here's usually what happens next. Teams end up juggling too much and finishing too little. Leaders start asking, why are we doing this again? And then critical work stalls while random, unplanned requests soak up all the time and energy. However, there is a fix. It's called the strategic priority filter, and it's super simple. Just ask 3 questions anytime new work is proposed. The first one is, does this directly support one of our current strategic priorities? This question cuts through the noise. If the idea isn't tied to one of your top 3 to 5 organizational commitments, it shouldn't move forward right now. Let's look at an example. Slide this over a bit. Let's say your current priority is to improve player retention by 15% by Q3. If someone pitches a new analytics dashboard for internal reporting, you can ask them, is this directly going to help us improve player retention? If the answer is no, it's probably a great idea for later, but not one to prioritize right now. This prevents cool ideas or passion projects from jumping the queue ahead of strategic work. The next question, do we have the capacity to do this without delaying more important work? Because even great ideas fail when they overload the team. This question forces an honest look at whether you can absorb the work without collateral damage. So let's look at an example. Say your engineering team is already committed to a live service patch and core infrastructure updates, but someone wants to slip in a new monetization experiment. You pause and ask, can we do this without pushing back our infrastructure deadline? If not, the monetization idea needs to go on the not now list, not because it's bad, but because timing matters. This question helps prevent burnout and keeps core initiatives on track. Let's go to the third question. The third question is, every new project costs focus, even if it's a small one. This question tests whether the impact is truly urgent enough to justify the disruption. So for example, marketing wants to rebrand your onboarding tutorial just before a major launch. So you ask, will this change meaningfully move the needle right now, or could it wait until post-launch? If the cost of shifting attention outweighs the benefit, it waits. This question protects momentum by honoring the invisible cost of context switching. If it doesn't pass at least 2 out of those 3 questions, it goes on the not now list. That's a parking lot essentially for good ideas that just don't deserve immediate resources. But the next step is to make that filter part of your normal rhythm. And so we move to the 4th step here, which is the roadmap planning. This is one of your normal rhythm elements. So under roadmap planning, you might look at this and say, before you lock in a quarter or a milestone plan, apply the filter to every proposed item. This prevents bloated roadmaps and last-minute distractions. Let's look at the example. During a Q3 planning session, for instance, a product lead might propose a side experiment. So use the filter right then and there. Does it support a priority? Do we have capacity? Is it more valuable than what it might delay? If not, park it. This keeps the roadmap lean and focused on what matters the most. What's the next element? The next planning piece? The intake forms and decision templates. So build the 3 filter questions right into the way new ideas are proposed, so they're screened before they reach leadership. So for example, your intake form for new projects includes a section, which strategic priority does this support? What will we pause or defer in order to make room? And then why now? This gives teams a structured way to think critically, and it makes it easier for leadership to say yes or no quickly. And then lastly, we have sprint reviews and team planning. So use the filter in the day-to-day execution layer, where just one more thing often sneaks in. So for example, in a sprint planning session, someone might suggest picking up a quick side task since we have a bit of space. You need to ask, is it aligned? Do we really have capacity, or is that space already spoken for? And is it worth shifting our focus this sprint? This keeps execution aligned and prevents distraction by accumulation. When you do this well, the difference is real. There are fewer detours and teams that can actually finish what matters without burning out. Now I'm going to adjust this a little bit. We'll pull up the outcome here. If this resonates with you, I've put together a free guide called Survive and Thrive that goes deeper into this and 6 other powerful shifts that you can make. You'll find the link in the video description. It not only expands on this topic, it also walks you through the 7 moves that you can make to guarantee on-time delivery without burning out your team. So check that out if this sounds like something your team could use. Thanks for watching.